So, in terms of the Chinese Buddhist tradition, the Buddha's birthday is celebrated on the 8th day of the 4th lunar month. And many monastic members, including myself, have chosen that date as our day of renunciation. So, 22 years ago, on the 4th lunar month, the 8th day of the 4th lunar month, I was ordained as a Buddhist monk by my own teacher, the most venerable Xiu Jing, at Tan Xiang Temple. So I'm now going to touch on the favorable factors for spiritual practice. And in this, there are two factors, one internal. So the internal factor is none other than having optimum human rebirth. And when we say optimum human rebirth, there are altogether 18 qualities of optimum human rebirth. But today we have no time to go through all of them. And then the other factor is what we can consider as an external factor, is in order to practice well spiritually, we need the guidance from a teacher. In fact, anything that we want to learn, we need a good teacher. In modern time, maybe many of you say, no, we don't need a teacher anymore, because we can go to the internet and just use Google to search for the information that we need, and then we can learn. And it's true that we have in modern days tools like this. But don't forget, the information in these various websites were put in by humans. So they are indirectly your teachers for that particular knowledge that you require. So in worldly learning, we need teachers. More so when we come to spiritual matter. So a spiritual teacher is absolutely essential for us not to go astray. There are teachings about how to choose a good teacher. Recently, I went to China with some of our members. And in one place, we met with one professor who is both very learned as well as very serious in his cultivation. And in our discussion with him, he was talking about the state of affair of the Buddha Sasana, or of Buddhism in China. And for myself, this particular trip, I see hope for Buddhism in China. But that will be another topic by itself that I may share with you later. Anyway, this professor also said there are many Chinese are now going after a particular Buddhist tradition. And he was very worried because he said he has observed that out of 10 teachers, 9 of them are fake. There are 9 fake teachers among 10. So this is actually very serious. But if you look at it from another angle, when I say there is hope, we must remember there is still that one genuine teacher among 10. So if you go to the Buddhist text, both in the sutra and in the commentaries, you will find some good advice about finding a teacher. And I'm not going to go through the details, but when we conducted an introduction to Lamrim, you can find the materials there. So 8 advantages are enumerated as advantages of relying on the teacher. So after we realize the importance of a teacher and the advantage of following one, then the next question, especially if we say that 9 teachers out of 10 are fake teachers, then how do someone who wish to learn about the Buddha's teaching make sure that he or she find that genuine teacher? And you find this in many texts. This particular list talks about the 10 qualities of a good teacher. And this you find in Lamrim Chenmo, which in turn quoted from Buddhist commentaries. So again, I have no time to go through, but the first 3, Sila, Samadhi, Prajna, are essential qualities that you should look for. And after that, there are 7 others qualities being enumerated. So if you are able to find a teacher with all these 10 qualities, then go after that teacher. Follow that teacher faithfully. Because it is very rare, especially at a time like this, to find these 10 out of 10 almost perfect teacher. I might emphasize here that for most people, especially young people, they have very dangerous methods of choosing a teacher that rely on their own sense of judgment. So some people like a particular teacher and say, oh, because he is very handsome. So you are not looking for a boyfriend. So what has that handsomeness got to do with the quality of a good teacher that you are looking for? Or he or she, has a beautiful voice. If you are looking for a teacher to learn how to sing, then of course That is very important. But if you are looking for a spiritual teacher, that quality, though good, is not that important. So you have to be careful. Like we say, it is very rare to find teachers with all 10 qualities. So, if you cannot find a teacher like this, then go and look for a teacher with 5 qualities. But when we say 5 qualities, it is not suggesting that this teacher can have any 5 out of the 10 that have been listed before. So if we go backward, out of these 10 qualities, the first 3, Sila, Samadhi, and Prajna, are the most important. So if you are looking for 5 qualities, these 3 you must look for. And then out of authoritative scriptural learning and possession of an awareness that can perceive emptiness, the second is more important. The first has to do with scholasticism. The second has to do with real result of spiritual cultivation. And then another quality that is very important has to do with compassion. So if you can find a teacher with these 5 qualities, then go after him or her also. But you will find that sometimes it is not the case of teachers out there, that there aren't many of these teachers. It has to do with your own preparation. In Buddhism, we have a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So you don't meet a teacher with 10 qualities because you are not ready yourself. So you must understand that you are only ready to meet a teacher with 5 qualities. And if you are not even ready for that, then look for one with 3 qualities. And when we say 3 qualities, look for a teacher who has more good ethical qualities rather than ethical faults. So morally, that teacher must be morally sound. Morally must be better than you. So if that teacher on the moral side is not good, then stay away from him or her. Because you will degrade morally when you try to associate with a teacher like this. And I must say that in modern time, there are too many teachers like this, inverted comma. So when we say, when the professor said, 9 out of 10 are fake teachers. So you read of many cases where these so-called teachers, if you go and learn from them, there are a lot of sexual scandals involved. There are a lot of money. A lot of people are cheated by these teachers. So be very careful. And then earlier we have said that life continues. So if a teacher is only after the benefit of this life, is only after fame and gain, then don't follow that teacher. So a good teacher is one who puts future lives above this one life. Then thirdly, put Buddhism above other secular matters. So in whatever decision he or she makes, the consideration is from the Buddhist point of view, whether it accords with the Buddha's teaching. So example is that if you do that, you will not be so self-centered. That teacher will not be so self-centered. He will put others above himself or herself. So if you can find a teacher with these three qualities, then you can benefit a lot from him or her. He can be your teacher. So in Buddhism, we say it is very difficult to obtain human rebirth. And a human rebirth which gives you the opportunity to listen to the Buddha's teaching is even more rare. For example, near Tan Xiang Temple, there are many residents. Some of them are not Buddhists. They stay a few hundred yards away. Do they have an opportunity to listen to the Buddha's teaching? No. But there are people who come all the way from Klang Valley, even from Singapore, even from Brunei, to attend our retreats. So it's rare to have the opportunity to listen to the Buddha's teaching. And it is also rare, it is difficult to meet with good spiritual teachers. So when you have all these three, when you have obtained human rebirth and have the opportunity to listen to the Buddha's teaching, and this, we are talking, when earlier we talked about the 18 qualities, the emphasis is have the opportunity to listen to the Buddha's teaching and meet with good spiritual teachers. Then treasures all these three and follow your teacher faithfully and practice well. Otherwise, there is a Chinese expression that you enter a treasure mountain and return empty-handed. 入宝山而空手回。Recently, I have been talking to some younger Buddhists about this question on relying on a teacher. In the Buddha's teaching, we also emphasize that it is more important for us to rely on Dharma instead of relying on a person. In Chinese, we say 依法不依人. But earlier when we say that to practice spiritually, we need a spiritual teacher. And when you find one, then you have to faithfully follow that teacher. So isn't that a contradiction? So when you do that, when you follow exactly what the teacher asks you to do, are you not relying on a person rather than relying on Dharma? And the answer is very simple. yes, at that time, after you have found a teacher and you followed him faithfully, you are relying on the person. But prior to that, you have to use the Dharma to look for a good teacher. You look for a good teacher not with your own judgment, but from the teachings and experiences of the Buddha, of past teachers of various traditions in different countries of the world. And then I might add here, for some people, they, because of a lack of guidance, they get themselves involved with a teacher. And then subsequently, when they know more about Buddhism, then they start to understand that the teacher that he or she has chosen is actually not a good one. And when that happens, then go back and rely on the Dharma. And quietly leave that teacher. When I say quietly, it's important that you don't slander that teacher. You just leave him or her. And if you are lucky, at that point you will find a better teacher. Then follow that better teacher. Okay, so after we have carefully selected a teacher, this process can take years, even 10 years. It's okay for you to observe a person carefully before you decide that he or she should be your teacher. But after you have done that, then you should devote yourself through thought and deeds. And when we say devote yourself to the teacher through the thought, the emphasis is to train yourself to have faith in the teacher. And when we say to have faith, it means absolute faith. That if a teacher asks you to jump, you have no hesitation. So, be careful. If you have chosen 9 out of 10 teacher, and he or she asks you to jump, the consequence or the consequences can be very serious. So, do choose a teacher very carefully. But after you have chosen one, treat the teacher like a Buddha. And there is a story here that I can share with you. There's a very famous poet and scholar, Su Tongpo. He is a very learned man and very interested in the Buddha's teaching. So he would always go to learn from a Zen or a Chan master. The name of the Chan master is Fo Ying. So one day, he went to meet with this teacher, and face to face, they sat down and meditated. After a while, this scholar, Su Tongpo, opened his eye. He saw the master sitting opposite him. And then he said, Master, please look at me. Please look at me and let me know how I look like. Because he was sitting straight, meditating. So he wanted to get, he liked to hear something affirmative from the Chan master. So For Ying opened his eyes and he said, "Oh, great scholar, you look like a Buddha." And Su Tongpo was very, very happy. You know? Then after a while, the Chan master turned around and said, "Oh, great scholar, please also look at me. What do I look like?" And then Su Tongpo said, "You look like a heap of bullshit. 像牛粪." Then after that, he was very happy, because on previous occasions, he always lost when he debated with the Chan master. So that day he thought that at least for the first time he won, because he said that the master looked like a heap of bullshit, and the master said he looked like a Buddha. So when he went back, he was very happy and related these incidents to many people. And then he had a very wise sister, Su Xiaomei. And after learning from his brother, Su Xiaomei just shook her head and said, "You have lost terribly today." He said, "Why?" Because in the mind of the master, he has Buddha in his mind. So he sees Buddha in you. And in your mind, you only have bullshit. So you see bullshit. So please understand, it's not that the teacher needs your confirmation. It's not that the teacher demands to be treated like a Buddha. If you treat him like a Buddha, then you receive the blessings from him. When you receive the blessings from him, it is as if you are receiving the blessings of the Buddha. It's okay for you to treat him like a bullshit. Then when you do that, you are receiving the blessing of bullshit. So, have complete faith in the teacher. Treat him like a Buddha. In the Lam Rim, it also says that the other aspect we have talked about the earlier is mental aspect. Now we cover the other aspect on deeds. So here you have to make offerings of material things to the teacher and to serve the teacher. And then finally, most importantly of all, to practice in accordance with the instruction of the teacher, which in Chinese we say, 依教奉行. Because after all, what is the purpose of finding a teacher? You find a teacher in order to guide you. And when he or she gives you the guidance, it is for you to follow. So we all know that there is a great practitioner in Tibetan Buddhism. His name is Milarepa. His story is very interesting, but we have no time to elaborate. Anyway, he was very poor. So he said, "I do not have enough wealth to make a material offering, but instead I will please my guru by offering him correct practice." That means by following whatever he teaches me. So this is very important. Since on the Buddha's anniversary day this year, I reflected on that same day 22 years ago where I received ordination. So I remember my teacher, and I can share with you. I can honestly tell you that my own practice is very limited. There's a lot of shortcomings. But there is one thing which I feel I have not done too badly. That is to follow whatever instructed by my own teacher. So 22 years ago, after the ordination ceremony here at Than Siang, I went up to Penang Hill. And in the one week after that, because after that Vesak Day, I returned to Than Siang. And then thereafter, I went for higher ordination in America. So during the week, I stayed and learned from my teacher. He said something to the effect, he shared his experience about the practice of monastics not taking a solid food after midday. This is in accordance with the Buddhist tradition. So I thought when ordained, we have to follow that. But he said that if one leads a life where after midday, one is just either meditating, or just involved in a spiritual cultivation, then it is very good that one observe that particular precept. But if the lifestyle is different, if one has to spend a lot of physical energy, or has to think a lot, utilize a lot of mental energies, then not eating any solid food after midday may be detrimental to one's health. And if that happens, then you cannot practice seriously anyway. This is one example. And then during that week, I also learned another thing, because when we take meals in the morning and at lunch time, we recite the offering to the Triple Gem, and we recite the spirit of the Bodhisattva precept to eradicate the unskillful, to cultivate the skillful, and to help sentient beings. In Chinese, we recite 愿断一切恶，愿修一切善，施度一切众生. And then in Than Siang Temple, we add another phrase, 愿一切众生都有饭吃, which can be translated as I wish that all sentient beings will not have to suffer hunger. So people are curious when they come to Than Siang Temple, and they might think that I invented this phrase, but no, I did not. But my teacher taught me this. In fact, he said that to a group of our members when they went up there. He shared this with them. So following your teachers faithfully. So today, we reflect on our original teacher, the Sakyamuni Buddha. So on the Buddha's birthday, what should we do? Of course, at a popular level, a lot of people like to bathe the baby Buddha. But even the baby Buddha do not need us to bathe him. We need to clean ourselves of the defilements. Recently, we have an exhibition of the Buddha's relic. So many people are very excited about being able to witness the Buddha's relic. On that particular topic, I will say something on another occasion. But truly, when we wish to celebrate the Buddha's anniversary day, then the most important thing for us to do is to contemplate his qualities. So in Pali chanting, when we recite the praises of the Triple Gem, there is one part that reads like Iti Piso Bhagavat Arahang Sama Sambuddho, Vicha Charana Sampanno, and so on. So these are Vandana. We praise the Triple Gem by contemplating on the qualities of the Triple Gem. So on the Buddha's anniversary day, we contemplate on his qualities. And in a modern context, using the analogy of seeing leaves, seeing trees, and seeing forest, we can say that the greatest quality of the Buddha is that only he has the wisdom of seeing the forest, and only a Buddha embraces the whole forest. So on this day, let us contemplate this quality of the Buddha. But remember, I am not asking that everybody see the whole forest immediately, but strive to see a tree. By that I mean, there are so many different teachings of the Buddha. Choose one, or ask your teacher to recommend one for you, and then practice that faithfully. So this is what I mean by seeing a tree. So after you have practiced this particular Dharma door faithfully and completely, then I hope eventually you will also see the whole forest. Because this is what the Buddha wants all of us to be able to do. The Buddha is not jealous of us. The Buddha wants us to be equal to him, to attain a perfect Buddhahood. And when you do that, you will see the forest. But in the meantime, let me ask you once again, have you seen the tree? Okay, let us transfer the merit. 愿生西方净土中，九品莲花为父母，花开见佛悟无生，不退菩萨为伴侣，众生无边誓愿度，烦恼无尽誓愿断，法门无量誓愿学，佛道无上誓愿成。So when we recite these verses of transference of merit, the first 4 lines are aspiration to take a rebirth in Amitabha's Buddha's Pure Land. And we must ask ourselves, why do we want to do that? So the second verses remind all of us, that rebirth in the Pure Land is not our ultimate aim. We vow to be reborn in the Pure Land so that in the Pure Land, with the great Bodhisattvas as our companions, we may make very good progress. And ultimately, when we have attained a very high stage of bodhisattvahood, then we have equipped ourselves with the ability to go to another Buddha land and help sentient beings in that particular Buddha land. So then we recite the 4 vows, the 4 common vows of Bodhisattva, the final verse, vowing to attain perfect Buddhahood.